Hello and welcome to the Can I Retire Now podcast with your hosts, Nick Russell and Becky Wagoner. I'm your podcast producer, RJ Malik. Nick and Becky, as always, so great to see the both of you for another podcast. And Becky, please tell us what you and Nick will be talking about on this edition of Can I Retire Now?
All right. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Becky.
Today, do you know what we're going to be talking about?
Yes, I did my homework.
Oh,
I
wow.
I read the preview.
Okay.
But what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to be talking about the New Year's resolution, people setting goals.
Okay.
So I've named this episode Goal Diggers.
Goal diggers, not gold diggers.
No,
goal diggers.
Goal. Yeah.
Very punny. That is very on brand for you.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm consistent.
Yeah.
So the New Year's is time when people start thinking about how they want to make changes to their future or things they want to let go of from the past year, and set new goals. So this is less financially focused episode, but more about how to set effective goals in different ways that may be more effective or less effective, and different ideas so that you can be successful in that.
So what this immediately makes me think of is New Year's resolution. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get in better shape.
Yeah.
Like, right. That's, or I'm going to get my finances together. It's always like the top two. And then the gyms are busy in January. My phone rings off the hook in January. And then it gets real quiet at the gyms in February.
Yes.
And it gets real quiet here in February.
Do you want me to start with did you know about this?
You're going to start right off with the.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
We're going to lose people right away.
Spoiler, this is all they stick around for.
Well, this is what you were talking about. Your phone gets really busy. So did you know?
Oh my God, we're really jumping right in.
That the second Friday in January is called Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day.
It's getting a reputation.
Oh my God.
That
Quitter's Day
is when people usually give up on their New Year's resolutions.
By the second Friday of the year?
Get a hot 2 weeks. Yeah, that's according to USA Today. Yeah.
It's not impressive, people.
Nearly 80% of resolutions are abandoned by February. Wow. According to Forbes. It feels accurate.
It's kind of, I was going to say, it feels both accurate and sad at the same time.
But don't worry. June 1st has been dubbed New Year's Resolution Recommitment Day. Yeah. Okay. So basically, most New Year's resolutions, people quit. They fail, they abandon. So here are some suggestions and ideas from people that are not qualified, but have access to the internet here to talk about goal setting.
It sounds like you.
It sounds like me.
Okay.
I'm not a guru. I'm not a life coach, but let's
see
talk about it.
Okay.
So this is when to set your goals. So we're talking about New Year's resolutions.
Okay.
And Nick is extremely achievement driven.
Every year, well, for the business, I always do business planning and goals for the business. And then I always try to think of personal things I want to achieve. And then I always try to note one or two things that, and I of course took this from a mentor I had, and he was he always considered them spiritual goals. And I kind of evolved that to be higher purpose goals, whether that is being more charitable driven, spiritually driven, volunteer work, that kind of stuff. So I always try to make sure I have one or two goals in each category. And I, like most people, use the beginning of the year as my trigger for that.
So the New Year's is a great time to do this, right? You're turning the page on a year. You're physically turning a page on a calendar. It's very symbolic. It's worldwide. So if that feels good to you, definitely use the New Year's. Okay. But what always happens when you set your New Year's goals and then you look at me and say, what are your New Year's resolutions, Becky?
You go, haha, I'm going to eat more cookies and ignore this question.
New Year's does not hit with me. Okay, it doesn't. So options for setting goals to make them successful is to do what feels good to you. So for me, different options for time periods for setting goals are people set them on their birthday.
Okay.
They find their birthday to be, obviously, that's a very personal time, can be reflective. So maybe January 1st doesn't work. January 1st does not work for me, first of all, because I'm a seasonal person and it is cold and dark and no one should be crawling out of bed to go to the gym more at that time of year. Like, that's the craziest thing to me. It does not. It does not work for me.
All the non-Floridians that listen to this are going to go, what do you mean it's cold there?
It just
It's relative.
outside is dead.
cold.
Okay. This does not feel like a new birth time. What does work for me is springtime, which happens to coincide with my birthday in March. So I feel more driven to set goals in springtime.
Makes sense.
So start of spring, your birthday. I know anyone that works in academia, new school years tend to work.
School years. Yeah. Especially if you have kids.
Yes.
So I actually just said this the other day to someone. I feel like when I was younger and in college and even a little after college, my calendar revolved around the school year,
in August,
right? It started in August. And then for years as an adult, it faded. I didn't really follow that. And then when we got together, having a stepdaughter, then we revolve around the school year again. And I'm interested to see what happens in a couple of years when she goes off to college. Yeah. If which you've had that, you worked in academia and have a daughter, if you will also find that weird phase out like I had. And now I phase back in and then I'll maybe phase back out. But I like the school year. For anybody who has kids or works in academia, it seems like a real logical calendar.
Yeah. So basically pick the time frame that feels the most connected to how you operate. Okay. So for me, it is not winter. January 1, not working. I will, however, start to set some goals around March when things start to bloom and the sun comes out. It feels like a new time to me to maybe change.
And honestly, it's a personal goal setting, but you're right. Like, and you like to garden and you like to be outside.
Yeah.
And that's a time when the weather starts to turn and like you said, plants start to grow. You have a reason to do the things you like to do.
It's very aligned in my world.
I like that.
So if you're finding that New Year's goals always crash and burn for you, maybe explore a different time period to track those things. So whether it's on your birthday, whether it's seasonally, or if New Year's works for you, do New Year's. So
I'll be doing end of year New Year's again, just so you know.
I know, and I expect to be asked what my goals are. So
yeah. And I expect to get a dirty look.
It's like I always got my annual review in January at work, and they'd be like, "What are your goals? What do you hope to get from this year?" And I'm like, "A paycheck." I don't know. That's it.
So just wait until I ask you to do your annual performance review on the podcast, and we could talk about how the podcast went this year and what our goals are for the podcast next year.
Sure. Everybody email Nick and let him know what my review is.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, you already know 99% of the compliments I receive about this podcast have to do with Becky. And I'm not offended by that. I understand it. I married her. She's a winner. But I'm like, hey, I started this podcast. They're like, yeah, Becky's amazing. And so, yeah.
The next thing, so figure out what time period works for you.
Okay. When to do them. When to set these goals. Doesn't have to be beginning of the year.
Doesn't have to be the beginning of the year.
What about what the goals are?
So you mentioned this earlier. You like to cover a variety of things. Yeah. And so while you're thinking about, I feel like a lot of people set goals about their physical well-being, their health. You know, the number one thing is to probably lose weight and blah, blah, blah. But make sure you cover a whole spectrum and pick what works for you. So I jotted down some things. So health, which is physical and emotional well-being. So whether you want to meditate, take more daily steps or whatever. Wealth, think about financial goals, aka retirement.
Oh, well, hey, thanks for not forgetting about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that seems it's a good time to, maybe because you can't go outside and garden, it becomes a good
just
time.
Stare at how poor you are after the holidays.
Yeah, there's a big spending quarter, that last quarter of the year. Okay.
Think about your personal space and environment. So maybe you want to make some goals related to house improvements, organization, maybe gardening, cleaning out spaces. Social goals. So do you want to see more friends more often? Do you want to make it to the library more often, being in and around people? Is that something that you'd like to address? Yeah. Because, you can feel, talking about me being sad in winter, and I live in Florida. I'm not really that sad, but like it gets hard. You see everyone for the holiday parties and then they disappear. So
yeah, they're at the gym for the first
2 weeks.
For the first 2 weeks of the year. Well, and last year we decided with our immediate group of friends to try to do like a game night every month or a social gathering every month. And that lasted for a few months. and
It did die out.
then it died out.
But now we make ourselves go out to eat
Yeah.
and or grab ice cream, like to be around people.
Yeah.
So if we haven't been all week, which is typically the case for us.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing how social a walk could be. When I walk the dog in the morning, like a Saturday morning, and everybody's neighborhood's a little different. I run into maybe 8 to 10 other people walking their dogs or just
Mhm.
walking. And in our neighborhood, we wave, we say hi. And I don't know all of these people, but some people, the dog
Yeah.
people meet the dog people and all of that. But it's so amazing how, and people that drive by and they're waving, and then all of a sudden we ran into a neighbor past weekend, and so all of a sudden it's just it gives you that little like, I didn't just sit on the
That
couch and watch
serotonin
TV.
boost.
Yeah,
So
it's
maybe
good.
and a social goal doesn't have to be like, I'm going to organize a game night or I have to go out to eat. Maybe it is just going to take your dog to the dog park once a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because loneliness is a big issue. I think it's growing, especially with social media and stuff like that. So maybe think about a goal related to that kind of topic.
And you brought up one just the other day, so I'll interject. I don't know if that's in here. I see whimsy, so maybe this is social and whimsy, but things like book clubs or things that a client of mine does really enjoys knitting.
Mhm.
So she joined another group of women that knit for people at the hospital or newborn babies, and so it could already be something you enjoy doing. And you just happen to do by yourself at home.
Yeah,
That now you could just join another group of people that are doing
exactly.
enjoy the same thing, and it's like you don't have to be the life of the party either.
Or read your book at the library.
You can like lean up against a social interaction, and it still has a big impact. So
I think so.
Yeah. Cool.
So and the last one you mentioned is whimsy. So make life fun. And goals topics will overlap. But I
just read what you put as the first bullet.
This is the best goal I've heard, and I heard it somewhere on social media because I'm chronically online. Okay, so this is like one of those fun things that you're like, why does it have to be losing weight? Why can't your goal be, I'm going to eat 5 new pasta shapes this year? Go forth, find those fun shapes.
Wow.
Like, come on.
You know what? I'll take it.
Everyone's heard about making a goal SMART, right?
Yeah.
A SMART goal: specific, measurable,
actionable.
I forget what the R is, and then timeline.
Yeah.
But we're not. I mean,
SMAT. We'll be SMAT. We'll
you
forget
guys
the R
know those
now.
things. But who says goals cannot be a fun thing?
Sure.
So, and the other thing I have jotted down here, which is a way to maybe find joy in every day, is look for heart shapes in nature. You know what I mean?
Heart shapes in nature.
Or a specific, like, wow, I found this rock, it's shaped like a heart. Or now look at this leaf, it's shaped like a heart. Or maybe you want to find something else.
Like a ladybug?
Ladybugs, maybe. And figure out what makes you smile and then go forth and find those things. You know what I mean? Make it a point in your day.
I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. They're called glimmers. That's the social media term.
Oh, glimmers.
Glimmers.
I was going to say, and we've talked about like geocaching in the past and stuff that just, it's an excuse in a way to get outside. So even if you're not like a super nature person, it at a time in my life before I met you, that gave me an excuse to physically get outside. And then it was something I enjoyed, but I also happened to be outside. And then you notice things like, oh, that little heart-shaped thing, or wow, this is really cool, or somebody carved into this tree, or whatever it is. You just start to notice things because you're giving yourself the opportunity to notice them. And it's so easy to just say, meh, I'll just stay inside today.
Yeah. But if you have a goal that says try 5 new pasta shapes.
First of all, I think that's going to make my list this year.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I've never seen that. And that is amazing.
Yeah.
As an Italian, I approve.
Yeah, you can make it anything. Food related really resonates with me though. So, but so really when you're setting your goals, try to cover everything. Don't just focus on your one topic, because then when you fail in those, it can be really hard, right? You've crossed off the whole goal. So kind of think about them. And of course they will overlap. Physical may overlap with social if you just join a walking club or whatever. But health, wealth, think about a financial goal, personal space, environment, social, and don't forget to add whimsy.
Yeah, that's really nice. And like we talked about with mine, that kind of spread, I think you hit something really important there is don't enter the year with one goal. If you go, my goal is to go to the gym 3 days a week, the moment you don't go to the gym 3 days a week, you feel like you failed and then it's over.
I know, it's a bummer.
I actually set goals. Some of my goals are going to be hard for me to achieve. And so I don't get disappointed if I fail them because I know I set kind of a stretch goal. But then some of my other goals are kind of easier to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that in a way, it's kind of just a psychological way to make sure that you are taking small measurable steps. You're taking bite-sized pieces. And it's okay, by the way, if you get through the first quarter of the year and you kind of tackled that first goal, well, then refine it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it's, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. And all of a sudden, 3 months in the year, you lost your 10 pounds.
Spoken by a true guy.
Well, okay. I know. Fine. 6 months. I don't know. Everybody's got their own personal goals. Then you could turn around and say, oh, you know what? In order to maintain this, I'm going to start playing tennis more or pickleball or basketball. And then you kind of evolve that goal into, well, now I'm doing something physical. It's helping that original goal. But now I find that fun.
Well, and that speaks to my next point is to understand why you're setting them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to lose weight, but why do you want to lose weight? You want to be healthier?
You want to feel better?
You want, yeah.
I don't want my knees to hurt when I wake up in the morning.
Be there for your grandkids. Financial goals. Why are you trying to save money? Because you want to retire. So really think through. It helps you concrete them in your mind. They're not just random things.
You mean you shouldn't set goals just because social media says you should set goals? I would argue, even though we're saying set goals, people shouldn't set them just because we're saying.
Well, I'm saying set them in March. So who.
Yeah. I think it's having direction in life is mentally helpful, right?
That kind of leads me to my next point.
Oh, am I just skipping ahead here?
Yeah, wow, you are. But
you're so smart.
You're so smart.
Look at me go.
I did want to say that action-oriented goals, such as like I will walk 10 minutes a day or I will save $100 a month, are more likely to succeed than avoidance goals. So make them positive. Do something that you're going to add into your life and not necessarily something you're going to remove.
That screams what I do every day because I think people feel like in order to accomplish this goal, I have to defer I have to give something up. I'm giving up money. And you are in a lot of cases, but it's kind of that delayed reward. And yeah, you're giving up money today to save and invest it so you can have this money later. It's a really hard thing to wrap your head around. And that's like any other goal is that if you're working hard, then you don't get the goal. You don't get that like, oh, I crossed the line for a year. It's hard for people to stick to that.
Yes. So this next point is you should record your goals. And I'm talking about physically writing them down. And this is a whole, I'm going to get into why you should write them down and how you should write them down.
Can you tell how excited I am that you brought this up? This is so true. And there's so many studies on it and so many books I've read that talk about this.
So it's called the generation effect, not generations as in families, but like when you generate an outcome. The act of writing something down makes your brain assign greater importance to it, improving retention and focus.
Okay.
And there was a Harvard study, this is pretty old, but Harvard Business School in 1979 found that their MBA graduates who wrote down their goals earned up to 10 times as much as people who did not write down their goals.
I'm actually going to read the first line of this that I find even interesting. So these are it's a Harvard business study that
they're Harvard MBA.
They're Harvard MBAs. So these are not dummies.
No.
Only 3% of them wrote down their goals.
84% had no goals. 13% had goals, but they were not committed to paper. And 3% had clear written goals.
So now these are some of the smartest people we have in this country, presumably, right? MBA from Harvard. They're not slouches.
Yeah.
But even only 3% of them wrote down their goals. Mm-hmm. And they were obviously infinitely more likely to succeed at them.
And they followed up 10 years later.
Wow.
And they found the 3% who had clear written goals were earning, on average, 10 times as much as the 97% that did not.
That's a lot of times. That's an extra zero.
Significantly more.
Right.
So writing them down has a real effect. So physically write them down. And then the other thing that I read about, and this is according to a Forbes website, if you write them down as if they've already happened, like go fast forward to December 2026 or a year ahead and write down your goals. I mean, you can write them as if they've already happened. So I have saved 10% of my income for retirement. I have walked 10,000 steps a day, and I saw my friends every month, and I'm happy. And how it, how it made you feel.
Okay.
For whatever reason, your brain really responds to this. It activates your reward center, and it makes it feel more attainable.
Wow.
And it builds confidence and does something called mental mapping. It helps connect your current reality to your desired future, and it kind of creates a mental roadmap on how to get there.
I like that.
Write them backwards, forwards, sideways, past tense.
I like the idea.
does something.
I'm a visual person, so I do also like having them. So for a while, I used to have my goals on a piece of paper, and they were in my wallet,
Mhm.
and I carried them around.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean I looked at them every day, but you touch your wallet most every day. And so I always had the occasion to like look and just pull them out when I was sitting at a doctor's appointment or sitting at home and go, all right, just a reminder here, like, okay, these are the things that were important to me. When I was single, I used to post them on the fridge because I had no one to impress, right? So I just stuck them there on the fridge, and it was like, Nick, do these things. These are the things we're working towards. And then for a while, I actually really dissected my annual goals into chunks, right? Because if it's like, do this great thing, it's like, all right, well, it's like save 10% of your income or walk 10,000 or 8,000 steps or whatever it is a day. It feels really good to say, oh, I accomplished that for the month. And I don't have to wait a whole year to like.
So you can make a monthly or seasonal milestone. So check in quarterly, check in monthly with your goals and write it down. I mean, you're even more likely to achieve your goals if you actually write the steps down on how to achieve them, right? Like this month, I'm going to walk 2,000 steps. Next month, I'm going to walk 3,000 steps.
Because the goals you're going to set are realistic. But when you get home from work on a Tuesday and it's raining and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. I had a rough day. You're not thinking, let me get my 10,000 steps,
Put them where you can see them, reread them as frequently as you want.
What is bingo card style?
Oh, this is something I saw on Threads recently I just love smiling and being silly. So if you write your goals for the year in a bingo card format, and then when you cross them off and you get to achieve bingo, it's like winning a game, which some people find more fun. So if that works for you. And the other thing I saw, which was really fun, and this is probably an everyday thing, but you can call it a to-do list instead of a to-do list. And
a to-do list.
And then when it's done, you can say ta-da and use jazz hands.
Can you show me what jazz hands are? Wow, there we go.
But
can we clip that? You
can't take life too seriously. And if you add something as silly as, oh, I achieved bingo on my card for this thing, I mean, that's kind of fun, right?
It is fun. And by the way, you hit two nails, kind of the nail on, you hit the nail on the head with two things there. One, there's no harm in making your goal setting fun.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you're more likely to do something if it's fun or entertaining.
Definitely eating all that pasta this year.
Yeah. That'll be really fun for you. And me too. Or if you do it with friends, like if you and your best friend say, hey, we're gonna do this together and we're gonna make a bingo card and we're gonna have some fun with it. But there is some psychology behind this as well. Mm-hmm. Writing goals down. I forget what the statistic is. You may have said if I apologize, but you're like 85% more likely to achieve your goals when you write them down. That's why we do financial plans for clients.
Yeah.
Because saying, oh, let's earn you a lot of money and get you to retirement, that sounds nice. But doing a financial analysis to write down what the goals are and the steps we're going to need to take to achieve them, people are infinitely more likely to hit those goals. Mm-hmm. And if we start to veer off or their goals change, we can easily make adjustments to that. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, it's the number one reason why people are successful in hitting their goals here internally. Is because I believe because we do financial planning, because we make people think about what their goals are. We help them turn them into numbers, which is hard for a lot of people, but like concrete them, make them into a plan and say, here are the steps. Or once you're retired, the other end of it going, hey, feel comfortable. You can have this money if you want to use it for something. Mm-hmm. You don't have to feel like you have to do without because we're in a recession or because times are hard or inflation's high.
That was ultimately why I wanted to discuss goal setting today, is because retirement is a goal. right? It's a long-term goal. So if you have repetition and practice in setting, I'm going to call them short-term, even though they're year-long goals or whatever you want to do.
If
Yeah,
you're, I'm in my mid 40s, let's just say 20 years. A 1-year goal seems short term compared to a 20-year goal.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was just talking about how to practice setting goals, how to make yourself successful so that retirement doesn't seem pie in the sky when you get to that point. Because you know that you can achieve things and you have practiced different ways to make yourself successful. Okay. So don't participate in the second Friday of January, Quitter's Day.
Quitter's Day.
Yeah.
Ah,
And if you find yourself there, don't forget about June 1st, recommitment day.
I will say, you know what? I think for anybody listening to this, knowing that it's the second Friday in January, that should be the first goal. Whatever your goals are, your resolutions.
Unless you're me and not setting goals till March.
Sure.
I know. Sorry.
If you're like me and you set them at the beginning of the year, let's just try to get through the second Friday. Let's just get through 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks is the first step. Once you get past that, 2 more weeks, you've already gotten through a month. That's already 1/12 of the way there for the whole year. Little bite-sized chunks.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this. And I think it really does tie into and to retirement planning, and because for a lot of people that's maybe a 20, 30-year goal to get there, and then God willing another 30 years in retirement. So you're talking about like a plan or a goal that really encompasses most of your adult life, if not all of it. And when you talk about setting a goal for a year, it feels like so long term, but a year in comparison with a 50, 60, 70-year goal is, no wonder people have such a hard time wrapping their heads around retirement.
Mm-hmm. And if one of your yearly goals includes a financial aspect, it can help build towards that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you for that, Becky. I appreciate you doing the research on the Harvard Business Studies, and
I love a good Harvard Business Study.
I know you do.
So.
All right. Well, you guys can find us online if you have questions, need more information. I will ask Becky before this episode airs to find her 5 shapes of pasta suggestions, and we will post them on the website. No pressure.
Wow.
And you can find us on our website at sunrisewealthadvisors.com. There's a podcast section in there with additional information, including No Pressure, Becky's Pasta Shapes. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're on everything. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time. Thanks, Becky.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Nick and Becky, and we're looking forward to your next podcast. And thank you for listening to today's Can I Retire Now podcast. Until next time, for Nick and Becky, I'm RJ Malik.